Larry's trick was named after Larry Carlton, and the trick that he's doing here is he likes to throw in minor 7 chords that are a fifth above or fourth below the primary chord that's in the progression. He likes to throw these minor 7 chords in front of the chords that he's got in his 12-bar sequence. So if you have a G7, you'd throw a D minor 7 in. And that's what's happening here to that Charleston rhythm. Now, that's going to influence what it is we're going to play over it. So over these D minor 7 chords, we're going to think, and G7, we're going to think about more playing out of D minor 7. One reason why this is really going to work is because over a dominant chord, it's very cool to play a minor 7, a minor pentatonic scale a fifth above. So that's exactly what this is. And that's exactly where a lot of the ideas are going to come from. So first idea, it's really out of D minor pentatonic if you look at the fingering from the flat 7. Right there. So we have this statement that just outlines these chord tones. 1, flat 3, and a grace note hammer onto 5. And what seems to be the 4 over D minor 7 really becomes the 1 once we get to the second half of the bar where the G7 comes in, because we do this. We come and meet up with the G7. It comes out nice. And then from there, we just throw this little tag at the end. A cool half-step approach bend to B flat, which is the flat 3 of the chord that's ringing. The G minor 7, which acts as Larry's trick before the C7. So now think about what just happened. We have this 2-bar statement. Then in the second half of this first line of 4 bars, we have the statement start off again in the same way. And it definitely has an ending quality to it. So there's a story in itself that's being told here in the first 4 bars. And we're going to continue to do that in the next 4 and in the last 4. So your solo as a whole could have these 3 mini stories in it that are related to each other and come out to make one great tale, so to speak. So to answer that first statement, we're coming in with that same anticipation into the D minor 7 with 1 to flat 3. And then bending up once again to meet the G7 with its root, just like we did before. And remember what I was telling you before in Sussy Strut, we got this nice tag at the end. It's 5 to 6 thing, or 6 to 5 thing. And it also lines right up with what's happening in the comping rhythm here, with sliding to the 6, the 6 9s that are going on here, the 6 9 right here, and then the G9 no third. We're matching up to that rhythm and using that cool 6-5 thing. As I was saying before, it's a great way to end an idea. So there's the first 4 bars, and there's that story. Now let's start a new story, the next 4 bars going into the 4 chord. Again, we're going to walk up a fifth above minor pentatonic. So 4 chord is G minor C7, but there's a G minor 7 waiting for us. And we're going to walk right up the G minor pentatonic scale. So we got that walk up, but we're going to enhance it with really calling out to the 4 chord, just like we did before when we were playing D minor 7 into G7. That's how we met G7. And that's how we're meeting C7. So same rhythm, same anticipation, but we're switching up what tones are being played over the chords. So coming into G minor 7, we're playing flat 3, 4, 5, and flat 7. And then we're going to make a cool half-step bend up to the 3rd of C7. If you want to think it modally, and if you're thinking more horizontally, this is G Dorian. And it works out real nice. And then to end that, just like we did before with these 2-bar conversations we're having within these lines, we're just going to walk it back down. And it works real nice. This plays nice over the G minor 7 to meet the root, or the 5th of the C7. But we're going to tag this conversation a little bit, because remember the order of things is a little off here. In the first 4 bars of a blues, what we've been seeing is 1, 4, 2 bars with 1. What we got here is 4, 4, 1, 1. So we just saw our 4 chord ideas for 2 bars. Now we have the 1 chord for 2 bars. We're going to slide into it with a D minor pentatonic vision, because that's the first chord in bar 7. But same thing, we're going to meet that G7 that's there with its flat 7. So consistently we're playing these anticipated 8th notes into downbeat 8th notes that last for 2 beats, but at the last one, on the upbeat of 2, we're always meeting the chord, and we're matching that rhythm, the Charleston rhythm of the comp, 1, 2, and that's more like it. So we're constantly playing on this minor 7 trick, courtesy of Larry, and meeting the primary chord in the progression with a chord tone. And so far it's been roots. Well, it's been all of them really. Roots, thirds, fifths, flat sevens. So going over to the turnaround, we're going to start a new story. And you know, we're going to change it up because we are getting to that climax that turnarounds bring us. So the 5 chord is going to get the same treatment. It's going to have an A minor 7 in front of it. So let's play an A minor 7 arpeggio, which nicely is in a D minor pentatonic, inside of a D minor pentatonic scale by just altering one note. So you just do this. Now what I mean is, if you think of it, remember I'm trying to always tie it into what you know. Minor pentatonic. You take the Fs, the flat 3s, and back them up a half step. You'll get yourself A minor 7 arpeggios. So here's 1, flat 3, 5. And to break up that sequence of 8th notes, use the grace note. So we got, and it's that same rhythm. Anticipate, 4 8th notes to follow, hit the chord tone of the chord that comes on 2 and. So in this case, over the A minor 7, anticipate, 8th notes, and there it is, 5th of the primary 5 chord. Same deal, anticipate, into the G minor 7, play the melody, which is flat 3, 1, flat 7, and on the upbeat, meet the 4 chord with its root. Same system, that's same idea throughout the whole solo, and it ties it in really well. But we didn't play the same exact sequences, we didn't play the same exact techniques, but we kept a very consistent rhythmic motif. You know, at the end, we're just going to shoot through, that's shooting up to the D minor's 5th and coming down on its flat 7. But when the G7 comes in on the upbeat of 2, there it is. And it meets right before, fits nice. Once you play, you hear that. So it's a nice little bouncing back and forth between the solo and the accompaniment. And then you just let it ring. Let that space be the place. One of the important things to take away from this trio of solos is in the first 2, we had these rhythmic motifs that we kept constant throughout the solos, but we were shifting them and switching them back and forth to make things interesting. Also, at the same time, we were finding out more ways to play chord tones without just playing the chord tone, meaning we're not just picking the note. We're coming from behind with the bend, the slide, you know, maybe an anticipating slide, or some way to spice up what it is you're playing. So you'll get the information, you'll be playing the information that really ties it together, the chord tones, but you're also making it sound very hip by injecting these new techniques and getting your phrasing together. All right, now it's time to shoot over to a set called Looking Sharp, where we're going to check out 3 solos that are going to show you how to play over the elusive sharp 4 diminished 7th chord. Very cool stuff. So let's check it out.